I'm Dan Minick, instructor at College of Business, and I attended OLC Accelerate here in November in Orlando, and I'm just going to make this short. This was some a keynote address and some key things from Michelle Weiss, I believe is how you pronounce her name. She's from Southern New Hampshire University. You've probably seen SNHU ads all over the TV. I mean, they're aggressive with online school. She's written a lot of different articles. She's been in Wall Street Journal, numerous things, and this was kind of her keynote address on things are changing. Now, all of us in this room, we're at least ahead of the curve because we're recognizing online is, there's a lot of new things out there and a lot of students are utilizing that, as a tool to learning. So she talked about theory of disruption, which was voiced by Clayton Christensen several years back. And theory of disruption, which me being from the College of Business resonates with me because we talk about, disruption theory and strategy and in business. But theory of disruption is really it's innovation that creates a whole new market and value network that really disrupts existing business, existing structure, existing technology. And the thing about it is companies really fail. Looking at this from a business perspective, and I'm going to kind of talk about business a little bit, and then we're going to kind of look at how does this apply to education. Companies fail because they underestimate their least threatening competitors. If you're in business and you're marketing a certain product or something, you're looking at companies who market like products, like services, and you say, that's our competition. But here's a couple of examples, and Michelle brought several of these up, and I've added some of my own. Henry Ford completely disrupted traditional buggy makers. Buggy makers said, that's not what we do. We don't do automobiles. We make buggies. That's a completely different market. Where are they today? Okay. Traditional radio manufacturers, this was one Michelle brought up, was, in the 1950s, a radio was, this big console with tubes, and it had good quality sound, and along comes this little portable transistor radio, and everybody says, well, that doesn't have good sound quality. That doesn't match what we do. But it created a whole new market. It created freedom for youth who wanted radio accessibility, transformed the market. One closer to home, maybe, that we're all familiar with is, most of us remember as kids, Sears Christmas catalog. That's where America shopped. That's where everybody bought everything. And Sears says, in the 1970s, who's this little podunk company from Bentonville, Arkansas, selling cheap crap? That's not who we are. They're no competition. Where's Sears today? I mean, Sears was just in the news last week, I believe. They're selling off Craftsman brand simply to try and survive. Okay? And I'm going to take that one step further. Walmart and Amazon. Walmart says, that's online shopping. That's not what we do. That's not our competition. Okay? Walmart has continually struggled to try and do online shopping. They're still trying to figure out, how do we do this? Is the writing on the wall for Walmart? No, not right now maybe, but what about a generation from now? Okay? So, let's apply this to the education system, all right? And I don't have all the numbers. I wish I could have gotten Michelle's transcript of her speech, but she brought up, there's over 2,400 four-year colleges in the U.S., all pretty much doing a lot of similar stuff. But there's this disruption thing going on out there in education. And we're not really seeing it yet, okay? Go back to your least, threatening competitor. Oh, these online business schools, these, what she called boot camps. Students are using more and more of this smorgasbord of some campus, some online, some boot camp, some hands-on training. And she specifically brought up Flatiron, which does web coding and some serious, hands-on 12 to 15 week program. Here's what Flatiron's doing. For the cost of $15,000, students do this program. They are then placed into jobs with a 99% placement rate with a median salary of $74,000. Okay? More and more students are moving to things like that. And here's the final proof that those kind of learning experiences are being validated by employers. Okay? Employers are hiring from those kind of situations. They're looking for students we want students that can hit the ground running. Okay? So this is really just kind of food for thought about where are we going with education. And this is a quote from Michelle from one of her articles, and I'll just kind of read it quickly here, but it says, despite the fact that some liberal arts institutions might find the idea of collaborating with employers and non-higher education institutions unattractive or incongruous with our strategic missions, the research on disruption predicts that if institutions do not bridge the skills gap, alternative learning providers will, as disruptive entrants find their footholds by inhabiting a space deemed undesirable by the established leaders in the industry. So, in summary, I just kind of want you to think about what are we really providing to students, and are we really providing where things are going to be headed? We tend to think, well, higher education, four-year institutions, we've been around forever, all of this new stuff, that's not our competition. Go look at what's happened in some of these business environments and think about what we need to be doing and providing for students. Thanks.